Well, let me switch that off. Don't know if you heard that in the background. I had YouTube running. Bad mistake. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the West Ham Voice. Um, Friday night's game is a game between the haves and the have-nots, or the have-nots. So, yeah, that's correct. Of Premier League football. Only our second game into the season, and yet again, without having further improved our squad, most West Ham fans will be making their way to the London Stadium or watching the game from on TV with a fear of trepidation when we host Chelsea in a Friday night game under the lights. Now, I guess for West Ham, we've got to believe that it simply cannot be anywhere near as bad as the second half performance against Sunderland last weekend. Can it? In contrast to West Ham's four signings, of which two are free agents, Chelsea have signed eight new players at a cost of just under £260 million. Striker João Pedro was signed from Brighton at a cost of something like £60 million. And they've signed several others. Jamie Gittins, something like £55 million from Dortmund. And they've even spent £40 million on a left back. And it goes on. But Chelsea, going into this game, have got a few injury problems and a few players missing. Romeo Lavia, Benoit Badiashile are out, plus transfer listed players such as Raheem Sterling, Nicholas Jackson, Christopher Nkunku, and Ben Chilwell are not likely to feature. Now, I know you've seen the stories yet again that we're linked to Raheem Sterling. Just ignore them. It ain't going to happen. But Tosin Aradibao and Wesley Fofana are both set to return to the team. Now, as I've said, it's the haves versus the have-nots of Premier League football. As for us, the latest news is apparently Southampton are still waiting on West Ham to make a second bid for Matthias Fernandes. So yesterday, we heard that a second bid had been made, 2 million on top of what we already bid, the 28 million plus add-ons. And yet today, we're hearing that we've yet to make a second bid. I don't know what to believe anymore, to be quite honest with you, with our transfer rumours. But it's just astonishing at just how big a gap there is now between some Premier League clubs to others. Chelsea can spend money at will, and West Ham are pleading poverty. But we've had our chances, haven't we? We've had our chances to build our foundations, but we've squandered every single one of them. Moving to a bigger stadium, being in Europe for 3 seasons, winning a European trophy, they're all opportunities handed to us to have been able to sort of take that next step up, and we haven't taken it. But here we are in a season defining, in another season that could be quite defining for West Ham, and defining, if we're not careful, that we could really be drawn in to a relegation battle. And this time we could stand a very good chance of actually being relegated. Now, I said after the Sunderland game that by the time the transfer window closes, which is on the 1st of September, we might already find ourselves cut adrift near the bottom of the table, which is why the final week and a half or so of this transfer window is so desperately important to get the players into this club who are going to fight for this team to stay in the top flight. No club, as we know from our history, is ever too good to go down. And right now, we can't even say that about ourselves, that we're too good. So what do we face against Chelsea on Friday night? Well, they'll be smarting from not having won their opening game of the season against Crystal Palace. Their star-studded, expensively assembled team could not break down a Palace side, and they're going to want to put that right against West Ham on Friday night. Last week, Chelsea had 71 possession, 18 shots, but only 1 on target, to Palace's 4 on target with 10 shots in total. So if anything, they're a team that Chelsea that can certainly create chances, and they're likely to create an awful lot against us on Friday night. However, is there a chance for us? Well, Chelsea seem to be very top heavy on their attacking play. And maybe they might have forgotten that they've also got to defend this season. Am I being a bit facetious? Yes, I am. I'm kind of clutching because their attacking prowess is just like it's quite awesome. Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, Estevao, you name them, Chelsea have got them. Look, in the game on Friday night, I expect Chelsea to have an awful lot of possession of the ball, a lot, despite the fact that we're playing at home. So it's going to be down to our tactical prowess and our resilience to just stay in the game. Not great sounding, but I know, I think we'll get our chances, but it's a matter of we've got to really, really take those chances in order to get anything out of the game. Now, this is very different. This is a very different Chelsea to the ones that we faced in the past, where, in a way, there are games that we played against them where we've been desperately unlucky because of one decision or another. Let's not forget 2021, when Fabian Balbuena was sent off for merely kicking a ball, and his momentum accidentally kicked Ben Chilwell, and the referee at the time thought it was a red card, and we eventually lost that game 1-0. Or the game in 2022 when Maxwell Cornet scored a legitimate equaliser, which would have made the game 2-2, only for the ref to call it back because of an apparent foul on goalkeeper Edouard Mendy by Jared Bowen. It never was. But we've had some special moments as well against Chelsea. I've got to go back to 2019, where David Martin became an instant West Ham hero for the brilliant goalie display, which saw us win 1-0 through an Aaron Creswell goal. Now, God, that season was tough, but there was a sense of togetherness in that team, which got us through that relegation battle. And then, of course, we've also got 2021 again, when after trailing twice, to come back and stun Chelsea with a fantastic 3-2 win. Of course, that King Arthur special, which was a cross, not a cross, definitely a cross, and we won 3-2. So look, there's hope. There is hope. Anything can happen, but I've already said this is a very different Chelsea lineup. They have got an abundance of talent within their team. Look, I hope Friday we'll find a moment of magic. Our last win against them was back in 2023 when we beat them 3-1 at home with goals coming from Agurd, Antonio and Paquetá. Can we do it again? Well, with the right attitude, I don't see why not. But I feel that the players might walk into this game with a little bit of fear after getting such an unconvincing, being beaten so convincingly against Sunderland last weekend. The players will know what qualities Chelsea possess, and we will need to combat Enzo Maresco's 4-2-3-1 formation. Last week, Crystal Palace played a 3-4-2-1 system, which may or may not be too dissimilar what Potter might decide to do against them on Friday night. But it's going to be interesting, no matter what formation it is, who Potter is going to pick. Look, it was good to see Crescencio Somerville, Callum Marshall, George Earthy all training this week with the senior team. But which of them are likely to start and which are going to be on the bench? Look, Somerville, it's a bit too soon. I think George Earthy might still be a bit too soon as well. But Callum Marshall, after his suspension, I think will at least get a place on the bench. And we already know that Edson Alvarez is gone. He's agreed to the move to Fenerbahce. He's on his way there to have his medical. And we also are aware that Wrexham are in for Andy Irving, and that Emerson is being targeted by Marseille. And anyone that would have watched my transfer show this morning, I suggested that perhaps there could be some kind of swap deal with Emerson going to Marseille and Jonathan Rowe coming the other way. So with those sorts of players, Emerson, Irving, Alvarez, of course, is not here. I don't expect to see them on the bench. I don't expect to see them in the starting lineup. I don't expect to see George Earthy on the bench either. And as I said, Crescencio Somerville is probably just a little bit too early for him. So given that we're going to have spaces on the bench, etc., I think the likes of Lewis Orford might be given the nod to be on the bench. Look, we wanted our academy players to break through. We could have as many as 3 or 4 players, academy players, on the bench on Friday evening. So what kind of team do I think Potter is going to put out? Well, I think he's going to keep faith with Hermansen in goal. I'm pretty certain of that. I know Hermansen had a nightmare debut, but I think he will be the goalie for Friday night. I think we might see a bit of a change in the back three. He could, of course, stick with Tadibo, Kilman, and Agurd, but I don't think they did themselves much good, at least in the heading department. And it's possible one change may happen where we might see Aaron Wan-Bissaka going into the back three with Kilman and Agurd, and that would allow Carl Walker-Peters to play as a wing back. It's possible. And then, of course, Juve will be out on the left wing back. And then it's a toss-up in central midfield as to what Potter is going to do. Unfortunately, people, I think James Ward-Prowse is going to be given the nod again, but then it depends on who's going to be alongside him. I don't think it'll be Rodriguez this time round. I'll be very, very surprised if Potter does that. So it's a choice between bringing in Potts or giving Souček the nod. I can't make up my mind on that. I know what I would like. I would actually like to see Souček and Potts rather than James Ward-Prowse at all. But I think James Ward-Prowse is going to keep his place, and I think it'll be either Souček or Potts alongside him. And then giving us a little bit more width, not too wide. I know we want Bowen to be a much wider player. And I'm going to come to an alternative formation in a moment to suggest how that can happen. But I think we might see Bowen and Paquetá supporting Fulkrug. There's an awful lot of talk about maybe Callum Wilson being given the nod to start the game, but I don't think that's going to happen either. Right, there is an alternative. We could go for something like a 4-2-3-1 formation. Now, forgive me, again, I can't make up my mind who would actually be selected, but I'll explain my theory. Again, Hermansen, I think, will keep his place. In a 4-2-3-1, you will then see Aaron Wan-Bissaka go to the right back. And I think it might be a choice between either Dinos or Tadibo to play alongside Kilman as the back centre two. And I think quite possibly again, Potter may go for something a little bit different and play Agurd as a left back. He's done that before. He can play in that role, which would mean pushing Diouf further forward to give width and having Bowen on the other side to give a little bit more width to the team. Again, I can't decide whether it'll be Souček or Potts in the centre two alongside James Ward-Prowse, and then Paquetá is a kind of number 10, and with Fulkrug up front. So we've got options. We do have options. And I think it's going to be quite important to see what Potter does in terms of, hello, Sushi. Oh, hello. In terms of his formation, his tactics, and the players he decides to pick, because he simply cannot do what he did last Saturday. He cannot pick the same centre two in midfield in Rodriguez and James Ward-Prowse. For me, I would rather he doesn't play Ward-Prowse, but I think we're going to be stuck with Ward-Prowse. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does to who he plays alongside him. So for those of you who joined late, so let me recap on what I've said. We're talking about the haves and have-nots. Chelsea have spent way over £250 million in the transfer market for something like 8 or 9 players. West Ham United has spent next to nothing on 2 players and 2 freebies. In terms of the players available to Maresca, he's got a couple of players back. Let me just recap on the notes that I've made here. He's got a couple of players back in Tosin Adebayo and Wesley Fofana, but he's going to be missing Romeo Lavia and Benoit Badiashile, who are out injured, and then transfer listed players like Raheem Sterling, Nicholas Jackson, Christopher Nkunku, and Ben Chilwell are not likely to feature. I've also mentioned about our transfer activity. Apparently, the news literally came out about half an hour or so ago, is that Southampton are apparently waiting for West Ham to make a second bid for Matthias Fernandes, when yesterday we were told that a second bid had been made and rejected. What do you believe, hey? Um, we haven't we haven't improved our squad since our game last Saturday. So we're going in with the same players, but it's just a matter of who Potter is going to pick. And the whole thing about the haves and have-nots, we've had our opportunities at West Ham to actually improve our overall situation as a club. 3 seasons in Europe, moving to a bigger stadium, winning a European trophy. These should have been the platforms to actually elevate ourselves to the next level. Chelsea have done that, and various other teams have done that over the years, which is why now the divide between a team like Chelsea and West Ham United is larger than ever. Look, I said after the Sunderland game that if the transfer window closes and we don't improve our squad, then let me recap. I've said after the Sunderland game that if we haven't, we could be cast adrift of the rest of the Premier League if we do not improve the squad that we've currently had. And if we lose against Chelsea, and if we lose quite heavily, and then we go into the cup game against Wolves on Tuesday, feeling a little bit low, it's going to be tough for us. We've got to improve this squad. We've got no choice. I don't know what we're waiting for. I said Crystal Palace did a good job against Chelsea last weekend when they played a 3-4-2-1 system. And despite Chelsea having 71% possession, 18 shots of which only one was on target, Crystal Palace came away with a creditable 0-0 draw. So we've got it all to do. But we can do it. We can do it. And it all depends on what Graham Potter does with his team selection. If he sticks with a back five, then I could see potentially Aaron Wan-Bissaka coming in to the back three, which would bring Kyle Walker-Peters in as a wing back. And then it's a choice between who is alongside James Ward-Prowse in midfield. I don't know whether it be Souček or whether he gives Potts the nod. If he goes with a different formation, like a back four, then you'll see Aaron Wan-Bissaka staying as a right back. A choice between Dinos and Todibo. Now, the reason why I'm saying Dinos is because even though he's got an error in him, at least he can head the ball. 2 goals we suffered last weekend for not being able to head the ball away from our defence. So we could go with a 4-2-3-1 formation. It'll put Bowen and Diouf wider to give us that width in play, having the likes of Paquetá supporting Fulkrug up front. What do you think? Well, I can see a lot of comments, so let's go into your comments and see what you guys have to say. Good afternoon to you, Anthony. I hope you're well. Potter won 5 out of 20. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Thank you. Pete, how are you? Friday should prove to be interesting. We can do it, but it's going to be interesting to see what Potter does on Friday night. Anthony, Brady won't let Sullivan sack him. That means Potter will be our manager still when we're in the Championship. Well, if we're in the Championship, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to the club overall. John, late again. Come on, Stel. We're holding ourselves in ready. I'm here, mate. I'm here. Anthony, not really. More like lambs to the slaughter to Peter. I was on time by a minute or two. Michael, afternoon to you. Keep it under 3. I'll be happy. See, this is where we're at. Keeping it under 3 and we're going to be happy. Good afternoon to you, Gary. I hope you're well. Supercomputer has us 20th on 25 points. Question from Anthony. Who would you have in goal? Areola for me. I think you've got to stick with Hermansen. I said this last season when Areola made a few errors, and I said, you stick with your keeper. You give him confidence so that you don't knock his confidence. So I think you'll stick with Hermansen. Foxes, good afternoon to you. It is a joke. And we should have had all our transfer business done by now. Did I hear Michael Alvarez doesn't want to go to Turkey? He is on his way now. It's been confirmed earlier today. Peter, smoke and mirrors with Brady and Sullivan. Gary, gifted 5 West Ham Voice memberships. Wow. How did you do that? Didn't know you could do that. Thank you for doing that. Michael, and he said, thank you. I didn't know you could give 5 memberships. Oh, thank you for doing that. Yuha, they may be halves, but we've got our soul. Weight that was left at the bowling. We were all have nots. That didn't. You're going to have to type that again because I didn't understand any of that, mate. Sorry, Yuha. Afternoon to you, Robin. Eating more to cheer. I'm eating more to cheer myself up. 2 bacon sarnies. Coming up while I watch the show. I'm off bread. I can't eat bread. Oh, well, now you've made me want to eat a bacon sarnie. Anthony, you got your fridge full and ready for tomorrow night. Scott, morning to you. 6 a.m. here. Off soon on a 9-hour trip. Have a safe trip, mate. Moutster, good afternoon to you. Or good morning to you. 3-0 either way in my head, but I hope it's for us. 3-0 either way. If we get 1 goal, I'll be happy. Foxes, our midfield stands no chance. It depends on what he does. Depends on what he does. On the bridge side, we have 4 days of misery to get over it because it's a bank holiday weekend. On the bright side, sorry. Scott, the issue is we funnel teams down the middle and have no pace there to stop them. I predict a 4-0 loss, 3-0 with pot starts. We have to deal with the midfield. I totally agree. And I'm hoping that we utilize our strengths. I'm hoping that we do play wide and we use the like of Diouf, get that ball into the box, get it in quick as well. Good afternoon to you, Sean. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Good afternoon, Kim Joe. Where are the signings? Indeed, mate. Not here, to say the least. Michael, the old West Ham teams would turn up for these sorts of games, win, lose or draw, but this lot have no balls. And that's the thing I'm worried about, to be honest with you. Scott, I'm sure hoping things have gone quiet because deals are being worked on in the background, but knowing West Ham, there's nothing incoming. Well, as you know, only the other day I said that we made 3 bids and one of them was definitely for Fernandes, but the others we don't know about. Many predicted that one of the other bids was for Ngal Al Mukau of Los Glil, but nothing's been verified. And as for other bids, you take your pick. How many players have we been linked to? And I did a show this morning to suggest even more players have been linked to us. Michael, Brownhill, last day of transfer. I'll be honest with you. I will really be honest with you. Is he any worse than what we currently have? I'd say no. He scored a hatful of goals, all right, albeit in the championship last season, but he would be a bit better than what we've currently got, and he'll be a goal threat. Of course, he's not the sort of player that we want because he's a freebie and all that sort of stuff. But in all honesty, if he does the business for us, I'll take it. At this moment in time, this is how desperate we've become that we'd be happy to have Brownhill in the squad. But having said that, if he scores us a hatful of goals and changes the dynamics of our midfield, sod it. I'll take it. Moutster, we have nothing to be upbeat about. We need signings. Anthony, 4-4-2 with Potts and Marshall. I don't think, no, Kante is just absolutely not ready. If you watched the under-21 games the other day, he was terrible and he gave the ball away for the opposition to score. Potts, I would want. Marshall, I think he'll definitely make the bench. Michael, we have a counter-attack squad, not a ticky-tacky squad. And I hope, in a way, we use that to our strengths and know that we're not going to have a lot of the ball on Friday night. And then go for the counter-attacking. Scott, 4-3-1-2, Scarles, Agurd, Mavropanos. Scarles, Agurd, Mavropanos, Wan-Bissaka, Potts, Diouf, Calvert-Lewin, Paquetá, Fulkrug, Bowen. Stack the midfield with Paquetá in a free role. Well, anything to get him away from our defence because he gives the ball away there. Who is Jonathan Fisticuff's road agent? I know, but I don't mind when Salthouse has got a decent player on his books. So if they're linked to us, I'm all right with that. Jonathan Rowe would add a lot of pace to our midfield, and he can play out wide as well. So I don't mind. It's when we're given the Wilsons of this world that I have a problem with. Mountstar, shouldn't we have a minute silence for Tottenham losing as aid to Arsenal? Let's not. We've got nothing to brag about with those sorts of teams at the moment. They've done exceptionally better in the transfer window to us. I hope we can hold our own against them. Navadius, good afternoon to you. Marshall has 3 game suspension. He already did one, so won't be. I'm surprised. I thought it was a one-game ban, to be honest with you. I thought it was one game. So hopefully he's back. Michael Orford is on the bench. I'm sure he didn't play. He definitely didn't. He was left out of the under-21s team the other day. Darren, please no Kilman in the back four. Well, Kilman worries me, to be quite honest with you. Kilman actually does worry me. Anthony, does this mean Ward-Prowse is going to be the first name on the team sheet? Says it all. Absolutely, it does. Gary, if we don't make meaningful upgrades to our squad, we're going down. I agree. And you know me, I'm Mr. Positive. But if we do not bring in some decent midfielders to this squad before the transfer window shuts, I worry. I will be worried. Michael, Deitch will be here after 5 games. Can't see where we get any points from. Steve Cooper is the manager that's likely to take over. Joe, good afternoon to you. Is it really fair to compare us with Chelsea as they're far richer than us? I guess the point is we have become the have-nots, whereas Chelsea, okay, yes, you know, they had a billionaire before all this FFP malarkey came in and gave them that head start. Yes, absolutely. It's not fair. I guess my point is that we had our opportunities moving to a bigger stadium, being in Europe, etc. We've had our platforms to build on, and we haven't taken them. I guess that's the point I was really trying to make, Joe. No, you're absolutely right. It's not fair to compare us with them. Josh, good afternoon, mate. I hope you're well. You've gifted another 5 West Ham Voice memberships. That's wonderful. I don't know how you're doing it, but thank you. Malkster. Home games are going to be so important this season. Absolutely. But I think there's going to be a fear. There's going to be a trepidation playing at home. We've had that last season. I think it's going to continue from Friday night. The only saving grace, sorry, Sushi, I know you want to go out of the room, but the door's locked at the moment. She's getting bored because she wants to go out and eat. Home games are going to be important. Yeah, but there's a fear, isn't there? There's a fear of playing at home. I just hope the consolation being is that we're going to, because we're playing at home, we're playing under the lights. Hopefully that will create a good atmosphere for us to build, and hopefully the team will build on that. AJ, good afternoon to you. Been a while, but got a deal with Chelsea fans on my case today and tomorrow at work. I swear we need a miracle. Well, welcome back. Welcome back, AJ. Let her out. She's getting restless. Come on. She's only going to bring the whole background down. It's been a while, AJ. Welcome back. And yes, we've got to deal with Chelsea fans. Well, let them gloat now. They may not be gloating after the game tomorrow. We can all wish, can't we? Good afternoon, Toha. How are you, mate? Thank you for joining. Michael, is Alvarez a loan deal? So if Potter goes, the next manager can bring him back and use him, or option to buy. It is a loan deal with an option to buy, not an obligation to buy. And my understanding is, I told you she would bring it all down. My understanding is that Fenerbahce have agreed to pay a loan price plus take on his whole salary, 100 grand a week. That's good. That's good. Look. It would have been better to sell him, but given that we couldn't sell him, this is the next best thing. Getting a loan payment, I don't know how much it is. I'm sure it'll come out in the wash soon, but I think I've heard that potentially it's about £5 million, potentially. And on top of that, another 5 million paying his salary for a year. That gives us anything up to 10 million, which can go into the coffers. I mean, as if we need, why do we need to keep getting rid of players to have to buy players? But at least we've now got whatever money's left over from the Mohamed Kudus deal. And now this loan deal as well means that we can go out and get ourselves more players. Andy Irving looks like he's going to Wrexham. That could be maybe a few £1 million as well. So there's a bit more cash there. Emerson potentially going to Marseille. There's a bit more money there. But as I've said, potentially we could be looking at maybe doing a swap deal for Jonathan Rowe. So I wouldn't mind that. Jonathan Rowe, okay, he's a sort house client, but he'll give us pace. Absolutely. He could even play up front, Jonathan Rowe, which wouldn't be a bad thing. So things are happening. But I think there's more interest at the moment in getting rid of players than there is in bringing players in. Andrew, good afternoon to you. There has to be a positive reaction after the Sunderland game because we were crap in the second half. It's as if Potter effed up the halftime team talk, just hoping we'd come out and have a good go. I agree with you. I think what happened last week is that the Sunderland manager went, look, here are their weaknesses. And we didn't react to those, to the tactical changes that Sunderland made. They started moving the ball a lot faster. We couldn't keep up. They started getting the ball into the box. We couldn't keep up. John, good afternoon to you. Southampton probably thought our second bid was a mistake and would actually send them the first bid again in error. Good one, mate. Yeah, I agree. Darren, good afternoon. Potter's press conference on now. There you go. I should have waited, shouldn't I? Angus, good afternoon to you. Might you know when the next text to support the decision in the Paquetá case will be published? Very good point. I don't know. It should be pretty soon, to be honest with you. GP, good afternoon. I hope you're well. Yuha, we're going to get a 2-1 win. No worries, Hammers. Thank you very much, Yuha. Stel, I hope Potter gives Potts a start. I hope so too. Another Yuha. Yuha, you got competition. Yuha Leto and Yuha Lepala. Welcome. Good afternoon to you. Graham, good morning, mate. 6:25 there. I'm at work and this live feed is very welcome. Thank you for joining, mate. Much appreciated. Gary, it's not glamorous, but Brownhill will do a job. Absolutely agree. Diavolo, good afternoon to you, mate. Would you use Aaron Wan-Bissaka as a centre-back if this game? Yes, I said that. There you go. Where is it? That's an option. If we stay with the back three, then why not have Aaron Wan-Bissaka alongside Kilman and Agurd, bring Carl Walker-Peters in with youth to give us width on each wings, and then whatever he does in midfield. So yes, that is definitely an option. GP, Brownhill, more like brown bum holes if we lose to Chelsea. GP, very disappointed, was looking forward to the season. It feels like it's over. Look, it's early days. It really is early days. If we put in a half-decent performance, even if we lose, if we put in a gritty half-decent performance tomorrow night, that will give us all hope, won't it? And then we can build on and say, look, it was a great performance, all right, we may lose or whatever it may be, but let's build on that and bring in players to improve the squad. Scott, Rowe for Emerson plus 5 mil will do very nicely. I totally agree. GP, in all my time as a fan, this is the lowest in my opinion. Let's see how we feel tomorrow. Toha, your name is looking more Morse code every week, GP. Sean, wanted Rowe before we signed. Sick note, Somerville. I don't mind Somerville, but having Rowe in as well would not be a bad thing. Scott, Brownhill is better than Ward-Prowse, but we want young players like Rowe. I take 17th, playing a squad of mainly youngsters. Diouf, Scarles, Potts, Guilherme, Somerville, Rowe, Earthy. Good point, that. Good point. We want to bring youngsters in. Here's our opportunity to bring youngsters in. We could have as many as 4 academy players on the bench on Friday night. Matthew, have I missed something? Or do we still only have one striker who's okayish and old? Well, yes. We do only have one striker. Anthony, Steve Cooper, no way. Whose idea is that? Mark my words. If we sack Potter, I reckon Steve Cooper will be our next manager. GJ, good afternoon to you. I hope you're well. Gary, I'm inclined to agree a little bit to GP, whatever what GP said. Darren, still, there's a box in the chat where you type. There's a box in the chat where you type. Oh, yes, I've seen it. Share your referral link. Oh, yeah. Very good. Oh, let me share my referral link. There you go. Thank you for that. See, Darren, I need people to tell me what to do. Devo, sign the cat. As a central defensive midfielder. So long as we keep Zuma away from her, it's all right. A girl cat is normally 3 colors, a boy 2, and 1 color. That's normally the case. That was a she, that was Sushi, and we've got a sort of a beige cat, a beige white cat, a Tom, and a black cat, a Tom. I didn't know that, GJ. Thank you for that. Well. Oh, have I shared it? I've shared it now. There you go. GP, Gonzo Squirrel Geo is house trained, probably better house trained than my cats. Devo, it's not good. He should be here. Who Devo? So I will sign the cat or someone else you're talking about. GJ, I will contact you, Stel, about the email thing I suggested. Give me a few, mate. No problem at all. You take your time. Michael, sign her as a centre back. She has a better leap than the 3 Potter uses. GP, nice. One supporting the. Thank you for supporting me. I'm really appreciate it. I hear Diego Costa is back in the Premier League. No. Diego Costa, is he? Devo. Will we have enough players to put out on? Definitely got enough players. Whether it's the right 11 or not is another matter. Unforgiven. Good afternoon to you. 433, Hermansen, Walker Peters, Tadibo, Mavropanos, Wan-Bissaka, Pot, Souček, Paquetá, Bowen, Diouf, and Fulkrug. Let's see. So you drop Kilman and Agurd. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Scott. Much appreciated. Do hit the like button. Gary, I'm no scout, but I really do rate Rowe. I would be a little disappointed. But I don't rate Rowe. I would be a little disappointed. I remember talking about him when he was at Norwich, when we were linked to him back then. He looked like a good up-and-coming player. I don't know. He'd give us options, wouldn't he? Michael, Sunderland manager here are West Ham's weaknesses. They can't head a ball and lots of space behind the wing-backs, and that's exactly what they did last week. Toha. So still, Marilyn Mansers would have done better between the sticks. Mads Hermansen. I don't know why you're hearing Marilyn. Mads Hermansen. I don't blame Mads for any of the goals. I do for the third one, to be honest, Scott. Devo. I'll stick to Dorking Wanderers this season. Much more fun. Mounster. Are they trying the singing section at the stadium? I don't know. They trialed it in the pre-season friendly against Lille, and fair play to them. Fair play that they're trying to engender an atmosphere. But the atmosphere's got to be, I've always said the atmosphere's got to be natural. But fair play to them for trialing it. They will definitely trial it on Friday. Juha, Diouf cross, Fulkrug header, 1-0. That's what I'm hoping for, Juha. That's what I'm hoping to use Diouf's strengths and getting him to get the ball to cross the ball in. This is what Potter said about transfers. What did he say about transfers? Robert, watching from what did he say about transfers? Robert, watching from the start, just seen this. No problem, Robert. I don't normally do these lunchtime things, but I didn't have time to do it any other time. Scott, Juha, we have the players to take advantage of Diouf's crosses, but we need a quicker midfield to advance the ball quickly, or they just stay, or they close us down. Absolutely spot. This is it. We've got to get the ball to Diouf quickly. We can't take all day getting the ball to him, and then he's not in a position to be able to cross it. I agree with you, Scott. December, we will lose Diouf, Wan-Bissaka, and Agurd. Can you put a team out with replacements? Only if we get players in now. Third goal, Scott took a deflection and there was a player in line of sight. All right, I'll give you that. You'd have hoped he saved it, but Fab's got beat on those all the time. Fair play. Michael, are they adding a 5K standing section still as Brady thinks we have 67? I know. She kept saying it, didn't she, in her interview, 67,000. I went, it's not. Everyone said it's not. All right, that's it. I'm done. So, like I said, look, we go into this game. We are apprehensive, but still, there is a small box next to chat with for membership. Yeah, I've seen it. Or you may be seeing something different to I am, because I'm using a different platform to do the show. I'm not using YouTube. It goes out on YouTube, but I'm not using YouTube as a platform. So maybe you guys are seeing something different. David, did Potter say why he left out posts despite putting him in a pre-season friendlies? I haven't watched the interview he's done today, the pre-match interview. So I will update you on that when I can. Scott, okay, I got it. Thank you, Scott. Much appreciated, mate. So just catch up. Hopefully, we've got to look to make changes in the lineup tomorrow. If he stays with the back three, I'd go with Hermansen. I would go with Wan-Bissaka, Kilman, and Agurd as a back three. Bring Carl Walker-Peters in to give us width, as well as Diouf on the other side. It's a toss-up between Souček and Potts. I don't know which one he'll pick. Ward-Prowse, I'm afraid, I think will still be picked. And up front to support Fulkrug, Paquetá on one side, and Bowen on the other. You could do it differently. You can go with a 5-4. You can go with a sort of a 5-3-1 3-1-1 sort of system, having bonus slightly more in the middle, or Paquetá slightly more in the middle. Or if you go with a difference, a 4-2-3-1, then Wan-Bissaka will be on the right side, possibly a Gerd on the left, in order to push the youth up further up. Team selection is going to be crucial. Attitude is going to be vital. You know, we as fans have got to get behind this team tomorrow night and try and be that 12th man for them. At least it's under the lights, which might be a good thing. People, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I'll be back again very soon. Have a good rest of the day.